Hello, sir. Shall we start now, sir?
Yes, sir, we can start. How do I share, sir?
1 second, sir. Let me have an introduction to the participants. So, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the day two afternoon session of Design of Experiments in Engineering. So, we have with us Dr. Amandeep Singh, sir, who is a research establishment officer at IIT Kanpur. And here is his brief introduction. So, sir has graduated his PhD from IIT Kanpur, and sir has 18 years of experience in industrial and economics. And his research interests include sustainable manufacturing processes, additive manufacturing, simulations of manufacturing systems, product design and manufacturing, and engineering metrology. And we also have many NPTEL videos along with Ramkumar sir, and the major one will be like a computer aided manufacturing in then engineering metrology, then manufacturing processes. So sir is well known in the NPTEL manufacturing videos, and sir also has awards recognitions like best tracker paper award in 2015, and several patents and publications of international journals, and also a mentor for biotechnology ignition grant. And sir also delivered a course in for IIM Calcutta on visionary leadership for management. And like I said, there are many courses in MOOCs and NPTEL platforms. And sir also visited countries like US, Canada, and Australia, and also has attended various conferences and conducted and organized by CARP and IEOM. So I am very thankful for Amandeep Singh sir for accepting the request, and here he is ready to deliver the session. Uh, Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I think now you will be able to see the share option, sir, with up arrow, share content.
Uh, which side, sir? Left, right, up, down?
If it you
Yeah,
are
yeah, I
using,
could see. I could see now. I could see. Yeah. Share the desktop.
yeah, desktop would be fine. Directly you can share.
So, are you
Desktop
able to
is,
see my screen?
yes, sir. PPT is visible now.
Okay. So, hello, friends. This is the second day of the course. I think by now you might have got at least the gist of what is design of experiments and everything. So I have just now set these four, five, like maybe at least 10, 12 slides to just supplement what Professor Ram told. And because they said there were certain questions regarding what is OFAT, design of experiments like multivariable or multi-objective optimization, certain questions were regarding them. And also I have configured my computer with a remote computer in the IIT Kanpur itself that has a few design DOE softwares. I think yesterday evening I could see the schedule. You might have gone through some software. I don't know which software you've gone through, but I'll use
Design,
Design Expert
same
to
design experts.
Design Expert only. Okay, great. So then, if you say I can even go through Minitab.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, see there are multiple platforms which are available, like Design Expert, then Minitab, the SPSS software, generally softwares. So many things are JMP platform is there. So many things are there that can help us to get these these calculations done. But what are these calculations? For that, we need to understand these small relationships and formulas, because you know what is happening in the GUI of the software, that we generally do not understand. So we just accept what they are doing. But what is happening there to have that related to the physics behind what we are doing, it is also important. So first thing is regarding one factor at a time and design of experiments. One factor at a time, I think now we all understand. In that, we vary one factor at a time. For instance, this is an example in which temperature, pressure, and I think one exhaust. This is regarding small wafers. You can call it an is engine performance. So these three factors, pressure, temperature, and exhaust, those were compared. If we vary one factor at a time, we cannot get the interaction for sure. So this is kind of an interaction plot. So if the figure in the top figure is OFAT figure, the lower one is DOE figure. In DOE figure, two factors are varied together, right? In that case, we can at least have a rough information or the trivial information of what the interaction would be. In this case, OFAT interaction, only the standard pressure is measured, the new pressure is here. The new pressure, we cannot compare that what would be the interaction of this, because there's a single point here. In this, the 2 points are gotten. Similarly, if we suppose vary temperature and time, we are plotting temperature with time. This is one factor at a time. Is one factor at a time. In this, you can see 5 experiments have been conducted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 experiments have been conducted, and we have got this kind of a plot. In design of experiments, the similar 5 kind of experiment would give you this kind of area. Right? So what is this? Even you can do 4 experiments, then also you can get this area. Because we are varying 2 factors, we can vary 2 factors. This is the major OFAT. This is one factor at a time, because one factor at a time allows you to decide the range. Like for instance, I'll come up an example of green manufacturing here, in which the cutting fluid was taken. So in that case, the output that was to be recorded was the surface roughness. One, the certain output parameters were there for green manufacturing. One of let us say the surface roughness is there. The varied values were cutting speed, feed, and depth of cut in milling. Right? Now, how do I know that the feed that I have to give would range from maybe 2 meters per minute to 200 meters per minute? How do I know this? For this, only one factor at a time has to be started. Now, how do we start one factor at a time? It is important. Suppose the speed machine has certain setups here. Where machine has setups from maybe in the increments of 2 meters per minute. If it varies, in total, let me say 2 minutes per minute, then 4 minutes per minute. The increments of 2, it goes up to 200. Let me say. So the the minimum value is 2 meters per minute, the maximum value is 200 meters per minute. Total 100 values are there. To conduct this OFAT experiment, what will we do? First of all, we'll have an experiment at a center. Center value would be 100 meters per minute. If I could write here, just a sec. Okay, this is 2 to 200. Right? Now 2, the next value would be 4, and so on. Here in between, we'll have a value that is a center value 100. We'll see whether at value 100 is just an initial point. We do not know what roughness would come. Then we can start moving from 100 towards left and towards right. From 100, let us start moving towards left. And let us start moving towards right. A certain, suppose if the feed is too low, or I have actually experienced this thing. Suppose if the feed was too heavy and the cutting speed was low, the tool was, I was just making slots. Okay, my students was just making slots through a milling experiment. So what was happening in the slot? Those were being made. Suppose this slot is to be cut, and the tool is coming from this direction. The slot is to be cut, and tool is going in a direction perpendicular to my screen here. Okay, if the feed is too fast and the cutting speed is slow, cutting speed is rotational speed. This is a tool, suppose this is a milling tool here. Right? If the speed is lower, speed means the rotational speed is lower, and the speed is too high, what would happen? The tool would stuck somewhere, and it might even break, because the machine is trying to pull or push the tool towards the direction perpendicular to the screen. So that, considering those things, these all factors would be taken from, these all actually set of information would be taken from the secondary data. Okay, generally we start from. Otherwise, if you do not have any data, we start from the center point. Okay, then we move towards left and towards right. We can pick a certain increments. Let me say at an increment of 20 each, 80, 100, 120, so on. We can keep on moving. Later on, you might fall up in selecting between the feed of, you can see maybe for this, keeping everything else standard. This is known as, also known as, I will give you a new word for this. It is sensitivity analysis. Generally, people thought of sensitivity analysis as only validation. Like when we do experiments, we design experiments. I think this we all know now. Design experiments, the first step, you have to design experiments correctly. When we design experiments, after that we need to validate the experiments. Then only we go for the all other, we try to find the physics and everything that we do. But that homework before this, even while reading the secondary data, while reading the literature and everything, like what has happened in different scenarios, like if you would like to open, I will if not mechanical, I like to talk about these regular examples that Ram talked about. Like we like to open maybe a food shop. What McDonald's is practicing are they? What are the kind of training they go through? What are the kind of ingredients that they have? Okay, though those some of them might be patented, but still similar ingredients can be produced or not. This is all the secondary study. Even before publishing, while actually doing experiments, you do a lot of study of what kind of fluids are available. If you need to select a fluid, there may be a green fluid. Okay, you need to identify what kind of green fluids are available. Before even that, you have to identify whether this oil that you are trying to use, like one of my students, he tried to use, people have even used, he has to use an edible oil, the canola oil, for or in machining, because that was also thought of to be green, because that would not this oil, if it goes to water, when the cutting fluid is disposed of,
Hello, sir.
That is the first point of the study. That is actually different thing. Now, generally, it is validation of the experiment that I'm talking about. After conducting experiments and then validating them, what are those that I will discuss by the end of this presentation. I'll really try to understand. Those are also known as sensitivity analysis. Whenever the whole system is set, everything else is controlled. Like in the case of the cake, everything else, your oven, your egg, your sugar, everything is set. Only you are varying sugar. Only suppose you are varying maybe water content. Only you are varying that water. This is known as sensitivity analysis. And if we are varying everything, like sugar from maybe 20 grams to 100 grams, then temperature from 50 to 150, you're varying. This is known as scenario analysis. Now, what does this factorial design does? Full factorial design does is scenario analysis. The whole scenario, each and every experiment is conducted. Like one of the persons asked the questions are, what if we have different levels? Suppose my oven has levels, maybe 3 levels, 51, 20, 100. Then my sugar has 2 levels, low or heavy. Okay, right? Then my suppose third factor has maybe 4 levels. Then 3 to 2 into 4, this will become 6 into 4, 24. This is known as full factorial design. Okay, in this case, what this figure is representing is one factor at a time. This will help us to design where my factors are lying. Right? You may end up in finding out that okay, the best range might be between which is value for 162 maybe 200. It might be like this, right? So these kinds of things, this is 1 over 80. Similar kind of experiments if we try to do through DOE. Now in this case, this value 2 and 16, the value 21 and 25, these are can consider known, like these are taken from the because this is in OF80, we have to decide it first where to start from. Now in this case, we have just designed it, the same values are taken, whatever it is, to exhaust time and environment pressure. Exhaust time is started from 2. Okay, you can see the minimum value that is taken, that is set here. Okay, this was started from the resistance temperature, that is the center point. This is the center point, and this exhaust time was also tested. Okay, in this one of the example that is taken, and the minimum value that is set, that minimum value set means it can even go below 2. That can even give better results. It can even be less than 2 seconds, but 2 seconds is the value that is set here, exhaust time that is given for this specific testing. Now this is the design of experiment. This is what RSM that we have been talking about. Now while looking at the figure, I could tell this is Box-Behnken designs. See, there are certain RSM. When I say RSM, factorial design is also a kind of RSM itself, in which this is full factorial, 3 into 2 into 4. The whole figure is taken about. In Box-Behnken, what happens? These corners are not taken into account. Always these corners are not taken into account. There's no experiments. So this is a Box-Behnken design. Box-Behnken design is there when we do not have much information about the corners, or it is risky to work on the corners. Like I have talked about this experiment, an accident could happen at this point, or maybe at very heavy speed something could happen, at a very low speed something could happen, or maybe at low speed the tool might deteriorate. At very low speed the tool might deteriorate, the tool could be very high. This Box-Behnken design is used when we need to desire to work on this at the centers of the factors that we have. Okay, and this which can, if we desire to number one, or if the data is not even available for this, for the extreme points. This is Box-Behnken. This is design of experiments. Okay, this one was OFAT, one factor at a time. In this, all factors can be varied. In this also, there is one center, right? And CCD, I'll try to explain it through maybe design expert itself, or okay. So I'll try to explain it. What is CCD again? In CCD is when we can rotate it through. Like this is a kind of a cube, if you say. Okay, this cube, if this can be rotated. Rotated means it doesn't matter whether you start from 21 to 25 or you start from 25 to 20. It doesn't matter whether this is taken at this axis, or we can even take the temperature at this axis, irrespective of the which run do you take first. If you do the experiments, that is known as central composite design. Rotatable design. In that, those case alpha values come. Okay, this is one of the examples that I have taken, because I think Dr. Warren only asked about, sir, what if the certain categorical variables come? In this case, what happened? This was a work material. These are general information. So these are certain experiments which are conducted for different cooling medium. What happens? Because the same set of experiments, this was how many factors are there? Grinding speed, depth of cut, this is factor 1, factor 2, factor 3, that's all, because these two are fixed. Okay, what are these experiments? Sorry, this is also fixed here. Grinding with speed is also there. That means only two factors are there, so it is only two factors. This is factor 1, this is factor 2. Right, factor 1 has here 3 levels: 2 micrometer, 10 micrometer, 8 micrometer. This is depth of cut. Table speed is also having 3 levels: 5, 10, 15 meter per minute. I think grinding wheel also had factors. So what happened in this case? The experiments are conducted, and the output that is to be seek here is the surface roughness. I think here the various outputs were taken. Let me see what were the outputs. It was force roughness and aerosol concentration. Yes. So what happened? These were the experiments which were conducted, in which the greenness of the process was tried to be found out. So what happened? The various kinds of fluid were chosen. Various kinds of the fluid environments were chosen. Number one is dry. Dry is no fluid at all, just without any coolant, without any cutting fluid, the run was done. Second one is flood. Flood is the generally what we do. The fluid was put at 4.5 liter per minute. At this rate, the fluid was put. Then is MQL. MQL. Those of you who are not from mechanical or from manufacturing background, MQL is minimum quantity lubrication. In this, what we do, we try to just spray small amount of fluid, and the rate is too low. Like you can see, it is 20 milliliter per hour. Okay, so the cutting fluid that is used in manufacturing is generally the mineral oil. Okay, those are magnesium based, those are mineral, certain mineral oils are there. But one kind of set of experiments also conducted using the vegetable oil. That is a minimum quantity lubrication using vegetable oil. First, out of these 3 experiments, it was identified that MQL is giving better results. Then MQL M and MQL V were also compared. So in this case, because these 4 are categories, 1, 2, 3, and 4 categories are there. Now in categories, what would happen? You have to have separate set of experiments for each category. For full factorial design, 11 into 4 into 4 set of experiments. Right? Why 11? There are 2 factors here. 2 factors, depth of cut and table speed. Each factor has 3 levels. That means 3 for level 1 into 3 for level 2 is equal to 9 experiments. Right? Now, Professor Ram talked about 2 kinds of the total error is actually bifurcated into 2 parts. What were 2 parts? Can anyone say? One was pure error. One was lack of fit and pure error. Right? Now, pure error and lack of fit, both of them were there. How to find pure error is due to the total variation, unexplained variation that is happening, and lack of fit is just a sec. Yes, I'm audible now?
Yes, sir. Now it's audible.
Okay. So what is pure error? Pure error is pure error, what happens? The repetition at the same set, when the same pizza, when you order on day 1, the pizza that you order on day 3, and pizza that you order in Kanpur, and that you also order in maybe Telangana, the taste should be same, the weight of the pizza should be same. That if that is same, that means the pure error is least. What is lack of fit? Lack of fit is actually what we are trying to find out. A lack of fit is while changing the ingredients, while changing the amount of salt, while changing the amount of heat that we give, what is the variation? So the majorly when we doing analysis, we are only talking more lack of fit error. The total residue is known as total residue error, RE. That was given in that formula. Total residue error is pure error plus lack of fit. Now, how do we find pure error? To find the pure error, we need to repeat one set of experiment multiple times. That is being shown here. Like in this kind of design, this center is repeated multiple times. So as suppose the center value would be 23, which is this temperature, then 1923 here, 21 in 1 Milton temperature, and 9 my exhaust time, 9 seconds exhaust time, 23 degree resistance temperature, 21 degree environment temperature. This is repeated for a few number of times. That is generally set in the softwares, like for 6 number of 9, 4 number of 9, depending upon the number of variables that we have. Why are these repeated? To see whether the replicability is there or not. What is the lack of error? The variation between the run, each run of these 6 runs, like run 1, run 2, run 3, what is the response, what is the taste, what is the roughness in this case that we have got. So that would tell me my pure error. Okay, lack of fit is the overall what is the variation up while changing from 2 to 10 micrometer, from 10 to 18 micrometer. For those lack of fit experiments, if I use design expert software, they give me 11 experiments, right? 11 experiments they give. So 9 for the lack of fit test and 2 for the pure error test. Total 11 experiments. That means one experiment would be repeated 3 times, the central experiment. 9 plus 2, right? 11 experiments would be there. Now these 11 experiments into 4. 4 is these 4 categories, right? And into 4 is to have the replicability again of each experiment. So total 176 experiments were conducted, but this is not suggested at the RAM tool, like conducting the sometimes the categories we cannot just ignore, but generally speaking the set would be exactly the same. I'll show you the equations now. The equations would be very similar. There are different ways to deal with this. We can get the parallel equations, parallel regression equations. We can have separate equations and try to find the local minimas or local maxima, whatever we're trying to seek, and try to then club them to get the global minimum. All those things can be done, right? Now, to have the separate categories, you can see the number of experiments are multiplied into 4 just because we had 4 different categories, right? So had we not have this, we could have done 1/4 of the work. Now these are the different plots. Again, you can, if you have gone through Design Expert, I think these are the plots you can identify. These are from the same software. The tangential force was signifying the energy that is used in machining. Though the machine would be running, this is actually the very small part of energy, because more the force would be taken to remove the material, more is the energy, more is the electricity is trying to consume. The small rise, that peak, the electric peaks were also recorded using energy meter. So this is for dry, flood, MQL-V and MQL-V. These are almost parallel lines. These 4 categories are plotted as 4 different lines, right? Professor Varun, you were asking what if we have categorical variable. So yes, in categorical variable, these are the parallel lines. So in this case, you can see the models are almost same. In this case, the models are almost linear. In this case, the model have gone quadratic. I think these two people might be understanding. This is linear model, and if it is something like that, this is quadratic model. And if we further go something, the model may go to the higher level. This is cubical model, quadratic model. So many models may come. You might have gone through Design Expert also, but I'll also like to give a small demonstration just to give you a differentiation between what happens if we try to choose this cubical model. Is it even required? I don't think so. It is required, because this only being aliases. Aliases means repetition of the same value. See, x1 has come once. X1 has come in x1 square. X1 would come in x1 cube. X1 would come in x1 power 4. Multiple times if we keep on putting this, you will have an inflated R square value. You understand? I think R square value is the one culprit that we are trying to maximize. And while maximizing that, while only not designing properly, just because we are using a high level, he was telling, Ram was telling, he just received a paper where they have used up to 6th level, 6th degree. They have taken with the equations. But if we say the fixed degree of equations, it would have around 50 or something terms in that. Number 1. Number 2, the computation time would be too heavy. It would be too time taking if we have to do that using some software. We have to suppose develop an algorithm or so. I will also show small. After this, we did some ABC algorithm, because we talked about that. The certain algorithms, certain 6 algorithms are there to finally optimize when we have multi-objective in front of us, right? So then this is point number 2. The computation time would be high. Point number 3 is the R square adjusted value. I'll show you the difference between R square and R square adjusted. R square adjusted value that we have is inflated, because one value that is contributing to our R square is coming multiple times and time and again. though it is to large extent it is adjusted, and always the correlations are plotted, and it is the depending upon the value of the correlation. Like suppose x1 square, x1 cube, x1 power 4, these are coming time and again. Then x1 x2 into x3, x1 into x2 into x maybe x1 square into x2 into x3. So many factors are coming time and again. So these are all plotted and R square is adjusted, but that would not be inflected value. If suppose R square adjusted value would have been maybe to close to maybe 95%, it would show you 98% or something. Okay, so this is not even recommended, like, because in these kinds of papers that we receive here for review, the physics or science is great, the papers are accepted, no doubt, but if we try to go into the statistical point of the statistical part of them, we can definitely question them. What was the need of this thing? There is no need. That as far as I see. Okay, then this is cutting forces. Okay, one thing also you can see in this, while wearing this is the increasing trend. What does this mean? I know, okay, these experiments are conducted by a student. I have just taken the data. What does this mean? This value is 5 meter per minute table speed. This is 15 meter per minute. What does this mean? The value is there is a rising trend. If I try to apply contour, the contour will show a rising hand shear, right? So what does this mean? That even if we go below 5, it will decrease. Even if we go below above 15, it will further increase. It will increase here, right? So this kind of trend does not give us a great information, but only we can justify it in a way that table speed less than 5 was not available in a machine setting, or greater than 15 was not available in machine setting, or OFAT only suggested that for this kind of table speed and having some other factor like depth of cut, etc., this was the only fit range that we have. Okay, this is the only fit range that we have. So these kinds of things can be talked about. But yes, this kind of trend, this is a rising trend. Generally, if this kind of thing is there, then this is our maximum. Or if this kind of thing is there, this is our minimum. This is what we are trying to see. Okay, but here the major concern was to compare dry flood MQL and MQLV. Also, machine setting was also tried to be worked upon. Now, similar trend is there in surface roughness. While wearing this table speed, the surface roughness is decreasing. While wearing depth of cut, this is known fact. Also, this is very important thing. This one question always, they had been our deputy director in IIT Kanpur from IME department, Industrial and Management Department, Professor Kripa Shankar. One question was a pet question that he always asked all the PhD scholars: what is unintuitive that you have got in this research? Like this is an intuition, like if we increase depth of cut, the roughness would increase or decrease. Yes, any response, friends? If we increase depth of cut, if suppose depth of cut is 2 micron per minute, micron only, 2 micrometers, and the depth of cut is 20 micrometers, 2 micrometers is depth that we are giving to the tool, and 2 micrometer deep material it has to remove. And on the other side, 20 micrometer material it has to remove. Which will give you better roughness, 2 or 20?
2.
Yes, 2 micrometer would give me a better depth of cut, better roughness, right? 20 would give me the lower value. This is something intuitive. So this kind of setup, if we see from the research viewpoint, this kind of setup, had this not having these 4 lines here, and the comparison between this interaction, suppose this blue and red line is interacting here. Okay, if these were not there, this would completely become insignificant, because we know that while increasing depth of cut, the roughness is increasing. But this table is not telling us about about the roughness is increasing while increasing depth of cut. It's just telling the comparison between different kinds of fluids. In that way, this table can be accepted. Sorry, this figure can be accepted. Okay, because it is also showing that after at 2 micrometers, the red one is flood. Flood is giving minimum value, but at around 4 micrometers, there is a overlap, and then this MQLV. Then MQL vegetable oil is giving us lower value. These kinds of results also come. Okay, generally, you know, this is the plot that is taken by very careful testing and everything. Initially, you know, what kind of plots might come? It might come like this: one line this, second line this, third line this, fourth line, something like this, because it is definitely going to increase, something like this. Then it becomes a little, you know, challenging for us to find the right answer. Okay, then again we have to design the experiments properly. Maybe these extremes that we have chosen, these might not be right experience from this kind of setup, because it is then a steep rise at this value only. Okay, but this kind of category, this is not good. Like there's some physics, there's some science behind that is making this to happen, or this can be even completely omitted. Only the value 1, 2, 3, these factors can be taken. The factor number 4 can be rejected. Okay, so table speed, depth of cut in these were constant, and this is one set that is plotted. Now this is what I was trying to talk, where I was trying to reach and try to tell you that how do we obtain parallel line models. These are all almost parallel lines. So when we have categories, these are all almost parallel lines. See, you can see this value, this value, this value. These are intercept. These are the coefficient values for depth of cut square. Sorry, this should be square. This is table speed square. Okay, this is a quadratic model. Depth of cut square, and these values are same. These values are same. Exactly same. These values that are almost close. Okay, why these values are different here? Because we can see a small, these are not exactly parallel lines. This is for what? This is for one of the factors here, roughness or something, right? So these lines are not exactly parallel. There's some interaction is there. So small interaction value, this interaction value is, though it is small, but it is there. Now these values are almost close. So these are known as parallel line models. The big difference that comes here is here in the intercept. This is the intercept value. This is the distance from origin. Distance from origin here, that is quite large. Quite different actually, I would say, not larger. In this case, if suppose I cannot recall what model is this. Is this for force or is it for roughness? If this is force, the force has to be maximized. We can almost directly say, so exactly, we can say that flood has the largest force associated with this. Okay, MQLV has the minimum force associated with it. Right? Because this value 19.56684 for flood is largest. This value is largest. Okay, and this value is lowest. I would say minimum. This is minimum. This is large. Right? Only because of the intercept value. Now this is important when we try to work on any experiments. Now the R-squared adjusted values for them are these. Right, 96.4. For the mechanical experiments, what do you think? Like people who are certain experience, this value 90 or around close to 95%, R-squared value. In the case of experiments, mechanical experiments, is it acceptable or not? I think we talked about this in the morning. R-square value, when we are talking about, depending upon the kind of study that you're conducting, if those are the mechanical experiments, if it is micro machining, something like that, the values even close to 99.9% are not acceptable. Sometimes I'm telling you, sometimes the value those are seeked are 99.99%. Sometimes, at times, in case of the social studies or so, because the values or the responses come from different respondents, and responders are the people who do not even understand what is science or what is the technical part of that, or I would say the basic study that is there. In those cases, 70-80% value is also acceptable. It depends upon a scenario. Though this is a conventional machining process, the machines, I think, might not even be CNC machines. Values close to 95% of R-square adjusted are acceptable. Okay, there are certain models which are obtained. I think that you might have gone through, or I'll show you in Design Expert, with the like linear model, quadratic model, then cubic model. Then in cubic model itself, you can include or exclude interactions. Okay, with the interactions, without interactions, with scared value, without scared value. Okay, all those models can be obtained, and we can see what is the value of R square that we're getting, and whatever value we're getting, that model will be obviously best model. For instance, this case, suppose this value is let me say in this model. Okay, let me say in this model. In this model, this value is for interaction. Suppose it is 0.04. Okay, let us not talk about interaction, because that will be talking about 2 points at a single time. So let us only talk about one value. Let me say like this D, depth of cut. Let me say for the depth of cut value is 4. Okay, and this value depth of cut square is 0.09. Suppose somehow the model is plotted and that this value has got to maybe 50.9 something, and this would be highly inflated model, because the value is D square. It is minus here, the value is minus here, the value is 50.9, the coefficient value is 50.9. In this case, there might be something that we have not plotted, we have not done the experiment right. This can even be omitted. We can take this value off from our results. Then the model will be only this model. Like the model will be intercept, value of V, value of D, value of V into D, and value of V square. That's all. This we can even take it off. If we can see, even definitely plot different kind of models, and we see what model fits best. Generally, what happens, the quadratic model with all values taken into account, those are plotted. Okay, only what we seek is R square adjusted should be closer. What is R square adjusted again? Generally for linear model, it is R square value. R square value, I think this is the Ram's presentation only. I think this was covered by him, almost covered by him. He asked me to do this part of the calculation part of this. R value, just let me know, please, everyone. Do you understand what is coefficient of determination? Or can I consider that you understand, or should I just explain it further? Yes, I would like to definitely. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So participants, if you have not followed, please let us know.
So I think, yes, I have. Sometimes it happens because I have also been doing courses. Few things, if those are repeated in the overall presentation, because we are talking about design of experiments, definitely coefficient of determination will come time and again. And if even one of you does not know what is R square, what is R square adjusted, please let me know, because for the next few days that will definitely be very tough time for you if you don't understand this. Yes, I think I should at least get 3 or 4 yeses from you.
Professor, what is the difference between R and R square?
Sir, R square is the square of R value. This is one point. Okay, if you're asking the significance of that, I'll tell you what happens. Sir, why do you only talk about variance and not standard deviation? When we will only talk about variance, variability, even the name is given variable, variance only. Why, sir? I'll tell you. because variance brings the value of variance, that is standard deviation, to the scale linear to what the values are. That is, variance can be directly added to or subtracted from mean. Right, sir? Variance, we can say, suppose mean value is mu plus sigma square, mu plus sigma square 2 plus mu plus sigma 3 square. All these things can be added. Similarly, sir, what is this R value? R value is only from regression, this correlation only. We have this variance of x and covariance of x. This here, this is R value, standard correlation coefficient, right? And if we talk about regression, this R, this is R. This is coefficient of correlation. When we try to talk about coefficient of correlation and we try to regress it somewhere, this is plotted like this. I think here the formula would be here. Yeah, this is the test of R. Just a sec, sir. Okay, yeah. This is known as not known as sum of this scale. This is not known as variance, but it is still. Why don't we even take under root of them, sir? Why do we even pick? Why don't we even pick this standard deviation itself? We are taking sum of scales because we are trying to bring them to that same level, so that it becomes very linear. It is directly additive or subtractive. Additive properties should hold. Okay, that is why we pick them, because it is square of the standard deviation. Similarly, we take square of the value of R, that is calculated here. I think the formula for R, if it is there, this is obviously taken from SS regression by SSY. There is one small formula for R. If I could find that, I could better explain it. Okay, no issues. In a 5 minutes break, I'll just bring that formula. So what is that, sir? R value is calculated through formula. If we square that, one of our students made this mistake. He got this value of R square was taken from an ANOVA, and he, actually it was she, the name was Shani. She squared root of that. See, value of R was let me say 90. Square root of 90 would be around 9.9 something. So because R varies from 0 to 1 in absolute terms, or R can vary R can be percent only itself. It can be vary from 0 to 100. Can we say that okay, my daughter's marks are 90%? Can I say my daughter's marks are under root of 90%, something like that? Can we take, because percentages are, if you understand the types of scales, it is nominal, ordinal, and no IR, interval ratio. So this is in an interval scale. Okay, what are these for? Interval scale, we cannot square root the interval scale. So R square is the value that is the interval scale, that is percentage. We cannot take the square root of the percentage. That is how it is designed. So if we talk about, I think that also to say, whenever we do design experiments, there are 4 kinds of scales which are there. NO. I think, sir, am I able to answer the question to some extent?
Yes, sir.
R square is the direct percentage value that cannot be squared root, and R square tells us about the percentage itself, and it is related to variance, and variance is in the linear scale of mean.
Okay,
you would say it would. Yes, sir, thank you. So what I will tell you, one more thing here, sir, this is the 4 kinds of scales actually. N is for nominal scale, O is for ordinal scale, I is for internal scale, R is for ratio scale. Right? So percentages lie here, 100%. So R square lies here in the interval scale. What are these scales? So N is only the name. That's all. Right? Like the category, like these 4 categories that I put: dry, flood, MQL, M, and MQLV. What does dry mean? Dry is the name of the category that no fluid is used. Flood is the name of the category that it is completely flooded. MQLM is minimum quality lubrication using mineral oil, using this vegetable oil. This is the nominal scale, right? The next level of scale is, in the nominal scale, can we have mean between, sir, could you please answer my question? Can we have mean between dry, flood, M12M, M12V? Can I say dry plus flood plus M12M plus M12V by 4? Okay, it is suppose Ram, Amandeep, Varun, Satish. Can we say, let us take average of Ram and Varun? No, Ram and Varun are two only names. Yes, I can say, let us take the average value of the weights of Ram and Varun. If I take weights of Ram and Varun, that means I'm not talking about something that is absolute value. Weights varies from 0 to this 0 to any value. So that is on a ratio scale. Here weights come. Right? So this is, I think, thanks for asking the question, sir. This is important information that I think students should know while designing the scales, while putting up their data into right pattern. This is also important. So first is nominal scale, when we only name them.
Right, sir.
Right?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Right, sir. So I will just like to add a few more things, sir, like one minute only. Like next is ordinal scale. What is ordinal scale? If we try to rate them, okay, I say Ram, Varun, Amandeep, Satish, their ages. Their ages, I can rank them ages. Ram is eldest, Varun number 2, Amandeep number 3, Satish number 4. If I order them, that becomes an order scale. Okay, this is order. Right? In design of experiments also, when we have categories can be ordinal, can be non-ordinal. These dry, flood, everything are non-ordinal. These are only names. Right? So if we order them, if we name them, we can just have the median of them. We cannot just, if we order them, we can also have median. Yes, here also the median would come. No, sorry. In names, we can only have mode. Mode at that. You understand what is mode, median mean? Yes, students, mode is the maximum repetitions. For instance, you are trying to find the heights of the students in the class, and one value, suppose one value that is 5 feet 8 inches, that is repeating the maximum number of times, that is mode. In this case, nominal scale, only mode can be seen. No more other parameters or factors can be seen. In case of ordinal scale, mode and median both can be taken. Mode is obviously any value that is repeating number of times, and median is a median value. ME median, I would say. MD, I will say median. Now next comes the interval scale. Interval scale is when we do not have absolute zero. See, can we say percentage of my daughter divided by percentage of her friend is equal to this? We cannot say. Can we say, like here percentages come, here temperature is a great example. I cannot say the temperature of maybe tool 1 divided by temperature of tool 2 is this thing. We never take ratios between temperatures. That is interval scale. If they have, because temperature does not have absolute zero. If the values have absolute zero, like height, weight or so, those are all ratio scales. And for the students, please understand, all the values, all the quantitative values that we are trying to find as responses here are in which scale? What could we tell now? This I need you to answer, please. All the values like this surface roughness, we are trying to find out. We're trying to find out the force. We're trying to find out the tool wear. Which scale these values lie? It would be obviously interval or ratio. Interval or ratio, tell me what is that? Okay, this interval. Is, yes sir. Any answer please?
Interval.
Okay. Sir, it is a ratio scale. All the values that, because generally roughnesses that we take, that we finally take, we can even take the roughnesses, we can take the those starts from an absolute value. It is in ratio scale, and actually speaking, both interval ratio scales can be the outputs here, both interval ratio. So majorly the outputs are ratio scale, interval, both can come. So this was an important information that was to be noted. Now we were talking about this thing, design of experiment and the parallel line models. Okay, this is all. I think I am able to connect it to RSM and factorial. Yeah. Now this is the model that we have obtained with regression value R square. Now what is R square and R square adjusted? What happens in the linear model? In linear model we only have these. If suppose the model would be linear, these only would be values, because we cannot have any square value. Intercept factor 1, factor 2, right? Factor 2, factor 1. Intercept, cutting speed and depth of cut. This is linear model. Actually the R square that is there, sir, that is the value for linear model only. But though the linear model is not a straight line, as we can see, straight line is like this, but our data is something like this, and the model that is trying to be fit here is this quadratic model, something like that is there. Suppose this becomes a cubical model. Okay, now what happens, the R square value, because the speed is here, the sign is plus, you can see the speed is again here in an interaction we should let us not talk about. The speed is again here, the sign is plus, it is okay, no issues, both signs are positive. Okay, let me erase this. Let us say the second case. Now the speed is here, the depth of cut is here, we have depth of cut, the sign is plus here. That is, it is contributing positively to my force, my output value here, my response here. Again, I have the depth of cut square value here, but the sign is negative. Obviously, this model is designed. Somehow they have picked a model. The software did calculations. Okay, this model is obtained. Small calculations are done, like, okay. This model is obtained, and these calculations are also based upon certain GUI, certain heuristics there. Though these are not exactly we would say absolute calculations. Now what happens, because this is positive sign, this is negative sign, at some point also we have D here, that is the interaction model. This would keep changing. This is changing the value. Now what would happen? They would plot, the model would plot. You can see that I would show you there in the software demonstration. They would have a plot, a correlation between D square and D. It will obviously positive correlation, but these, yes, hello. No. Yeah. So they would plot a model between D square and some of the all values where D is there, and they would keep adjusting. They keep adjusting the value of R. While adjusting this value of R, the new value of R that is being used is known as R square adjusted. So whenever the model is not linear, we always should look for R square adjusted, right? Because this is adjusted for the inflation. Okay. Next point, very important point. This adjustment is okay till the quadratic model, till the second degree, till we have the I would say put here quadratic model. Okay, this adjustment is acceptable. You will see, if you go to the further degrees of level, if you go to the cubic model, what would happen? Suppose my R square value was maybe the general R square value. I would say this is R square value, R square. Then I have R square adjusted, R square adjusted. Then there is one more value that is known as R square predicted. R square predicted. Suppose this value in linear model would be maybe 97% or so. Okay, this R square adjusted value would be little lower than that, because we have picked the this model. This R square adjusted value, just a second, I think this is not working. Okay, I'll tell you just verbally. So what happens in the quadratic model? The R square value that is adjusted would have a drastic change. Oh, sorry, this is not that drastic. Would have a little larger change. Drastic would be, if the drastic would be from 60 to 90. It is not that drastic. It is from 5 to 90. The change from 93 would be, sorry, it will increase, sorry. Uh,
Hello, sir. There is some disturbance. I think the network issues here, sir. Hello, sir. Am I audible, sir? Hello, sir.
So this is R square adjusted versus R square, right? So next one, yes, sir.
Your PPT is not visible, sir. Now
What happened?
there was some, no. All of a sudden, just now it got.
It is showing stop sharing here, man. That is, it is being shared. Okay, I'll stop and restart it. So I think we can even have a 2 minutes break here, sir.
Okay, sir. So, dear participants, we'll take 2 minutes break and we can join back at 2:44.
2:44 would be okay. And if you have any questions, you can just type in the chat box and I will be open to maybe address them.
Sir, we can start whenever you are ready, sir.
Just give me a minute, sir. Just actually, I'm trying to connect through a remote computer that
Okay,
has
sir.
that connection got off. That has some softwares, Minitab and Design Expert both.
Okay, sir.
Just give me a second.
Yes, sir. So, dear participants, in the meantime, if you have any queries, please
Yes, I'm
type
open
in,
for that.
yeah, in the chat window, or you can also message through WhatsApp. I can read it out here. Actually, sir, I have one query, sir. If that's okay, I can say, or when
Yeah,
we get
definitely.
connected.
I am just working on something. You can keep on saying, please.
So when you were mentioning about these trend lines, which was showing all flood one, dry and MQL as parallel lines, sir, you were
Mhm.
also mentioning if there is any abruptly, like something is non or behaving in a different manner. Like for example, let's say cryogenic machining is done, and the performance of this cryogenic machining, instead of behaving like all decreasing, it may some, for some exceptional case, it is increasing, let's say. Then you need to say we need to remove that particular responser and then do it, or can we consider it?
Yes, sir. Sometimes what if happens, just a sec, sir. I think I was not able to connect that. So I'll come to my
Okay,
PPT again.
sure, sir.
So just a sec, just a sec. So where were we? So sometimes what happens, there, like something happened to Madame Curie, the iota part of happen might happen with us as well.
Hmm.
Like she invented radium accidentally while sleeping and everything, right?
Yes, sir.
So there was, I'll tell you a small example. Like, okay, are you able to see my screen now?
No,
No,
sir.
no, just a sec. I think, yeah, now it should be visible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'll tell you what happened. Like, if suppose it is a drastic change, completely opposite to the physics that you have, completely
Yes, sir.
exactly opposite of physics, then you definitely might see if it is increasing or decreasing. Like, if it is suppose happening multiple times, there might be some design, minus plus sign design might be obviously there. If you understand that physics is supporting it, then it is okay. Otherwise, sometime what it happens, I'll tell you what happened with us in past. Like, there was one experiment the students were conducting, and he used to receive this kind of, like, this is suppose the graph, and while plotting the graph, he was kindly having like this kind of hump, and then the plot used to come here. Second time even he plotted again this kind of hump, then the graph plotted here. Okay, now this is the energy peak. What happens now? This is actually when he identified, we thought that okay, the graph is something has gone wrong. Sometimes what happens, these kind of things, this was when he started the tool and we just touched the tool to the workpiece. I don't know exactly what was it. Actually, this was in ECM, that is not accepted. That is not, yet
That is
reported. But in ECM, it also happens. In physical tools, we understand. So this small energy peak that happens. Okay, so these things which are not even thought of before, sometimes these things are observed in the experiments. But if suppose the trend has to be suppose something like that, and your trend is coming something like this, and this is if coming multiple time it is coming, we definitely have to find what is the physics behind this.
Okay.
It is not something there with your experiments. I think if it is happening, it is, if you are very sure that the range that we have selected here, that is correct, then you might have to find the physics or something might is there that you need to explore. And I think this would be the definitely right part when our papers are rightly accepted. I'll tell you one of my papers, like in the Journal of Cleaner Production, that was outrightly rejected at first. Right?
Okay.
It was the third time actually I wrote it, when even after rejection, I wrote to them that all the reviews, all the review points are defendable. I wrote to them. I even we tried to contact, because the editor was somehow within the network of one of the authors here. So he contacted them that the reviewers have some different viewpoint. They might not have gone through this thing. So, but these papers had these are the points through which we can defend the points. But that was again then accepted, and that paper has also got the best second best paper award.
Oh, okay. Good.
Because sometimes it happens that you do not expect this to happen. How could they support? These things do happen, man. Design of experiments is just a small part of what we are doing. It is but yes, it is very important, and because it is the first step, I would say it is very important to design it rightly. Okay. Yes. So we were here. So now we have selected the models. These two models are selected. What happens? I'm just talking about the pre-DOE and post-DOE things. Pre-DOE things is actually OFAT, though it is part of that, but we also need to consider that what factors we are wearing, one factor at a time. Are the factors that we are selecting, are these reported to be changing with time or not? See, you might not have heard of this factor maybe in the past, like noise intensity. Noise, this is not the statistical noise. This is actually the sound. When we do machining, see, sound comes at certain points when two touches, something like the peak sounds comes. This is noise intensity. When we are talking about this sustainable manufacturing, in this, I think research, it was 2 points were considered. One is the machining viewpoint, that what is the energy that is being consumed. Number two, what is the fluid that is consumed, whether the fluid can be green fluid or vegetable fluid or not. Point number three, what are the short-term or long-term harm to the human that is working there? When we are talking about green or sustainable manufacturing here, it was not exactly because cutting fluid, which will go to the environment, to the water, if we not treat it well, that would definitely affect the people around. But what about the operator who is working there? Operator has to also, go through certain peak sounds which are there in the industry. Now, for that, at what point the peak sound is coming? This was also recorded. One is the average sound. Is it acceptable by human ear or not? Whatever the standards are, government standards are, like ILO standards are. Second thing is peak intensity. Now this I am only showing because this is only contour, only actually the surface plot that I have here. How could I enlarge it? Yeah. But this is the surface plot. I think now, what would you suggest about this plot? This is not a great plot because it is having a minimum value here, it is having a maximum value here, and these two values, it is having an increasing trend on this side, an increasing trend on the other side. That means the speed less than 5 meters per minute and depth of cut less than 2 meters per minute. Even if you decrease it further, it will go down. Even if we increase from the values 18 micrometer or 15 meters per minute for depth of cut and table speed respectively, it can even increase. Though it is not a great plot, but because these are the only values which were selected based upon the major factors. Major factors were the force and the surface roughness. See, force and surface, these two factors are taken. Okay, it is not sure because you talked about categorical variable. That is why I chose to pick. Within this time, in the break time, I just try to change the plan of what I'm going to present. It is not always that the response that we're trying to take always needs to be at a metric scale. Now always, yes, just one more thing, because we were talking about these skills. Oh, that information is taken off. NOIR, I was talking about nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Nominal and ordinal are known as non-metric scales, because in nominal and ordinal we cannot add, we cannot multiply, we cannot do anything. Only we can have is mode and median. These are almost categorical or qualitative data. It's not non-metric. Metric scales only come when we at least have interval. Interval and ratio, it is NOIR formula, NOIR. We can note it down if you wish to. NOIR and I and R both are metric scales. And these two values, FT and RA, are in metric scales. Yes, noise is also in the metric scale, but the noise does not contribute. This is also again saying noise does not contribute to the force. Okay, and also I have aerosol, that is because mist is there. When I have mist, and the person is talking about the sustainability. Yes, we are talking about the health of the overall health of our nature earth, our mother earth. But while talking about the mother earth, what about the operator who is working there? His ears should not go bad, his eyes, nose, everything be safe. When we are talking about the mist, either the mist has to be within the controlled atmosphere, like within the control chamber. If the mist is in the control chamber, we have to take care about the proper lubrication of the machine. That is second part. But if we are talking about the sustainability viewpoint, the mist, what is the level of aerosol? What is the level of, I would say, the pollution that is being created because of mist? That is an important point as well. But that does not contribute to the force, but that does not contribute to the roughness. So these two factors are taken separately. Okay, these can be optimized, like minimizing the force and minimizing the roughness. What should be the value of tool speed and depth of cut? And on the other hand, what is which of the category from dry, flood, minimum quantity lubrication, mineral and minimum quantity lubrication, vegetable, which one is giving the minimum average noise? The minimum average noise here was noticed for this one, black is dry, right? Similarly, next plot is for, sorry, just to make it larger, I have just came out from this slide mode here. So this is aerosol concentration versus medium. Now the aerosol concentration, the 8 particle collector machine, that is one instrument, that is what we have also taken to find what are the aerosol concentration. Now this is also a plot. You can see these red lines. This is again from the same Design Expert software. These red points all over are our data points. And this kind of plot with this thing, this is known as box and whisker plot. These two values, these two lines, if you see, these two are the minimum and the maximum values of the repetitions, right? And the center we have box, minimum, the maximum value. Central, we have two quartiles here, right? The median value, the upper quartile, the lower quartile, and the extreme values. Now this here, from this plot overall, what we can see, in case of dry, the mist was only the dry dust or dry, I would say, the parts of chips. In flood, because of the flood, the mist flew and actually it was all dissolved, and not dissolved, it went into the flood and it was drained out. In case of mineral oil, see here the value is, it is -300. I think here the value is only what is the, I think, milligram per meter cube. This is the unit here. So this is PM10 value. PM10 value, maximum of you what we understanding, this is a pollution term. There is a particular matter of the size less than 10 micrometer. PM10, PM2.5, PM1. These are the major particular PM values that we used to calculate in the even pollution monitoring instruments. They only work on these two specifically. In India, PM2.5 and PM10 is the major important. In the countries like which are considered to be actually a little more cleaner, like in US and Europe, they also work for PM1 or so. PM1 is the particular matter size less than 1 micrometer size. 1 micrometer, I would say, the radius. So this is PM10 value in microgram per meter cube. This value for flood is almost nil. it is almost close to 0. That is 20 microgram per meter cube. For dry, though, because it is dry, it is not being mixed with the watery content and everything. Its values are a little low, like maybe 400 or something. But here you can see the values are of the order of to 2500 microgram per millimeter cube in case of mineral. In case of vegetable oil, the values are again order of maybe 1500 microgram per meter cube. Just what I'm trying to explain is, while designing the experiments, we need also to understand what kind of plot are we going to have. Whether it is only not all in this is RSM only. The experiment that those were conducted is almost, it is actually full factorial experiment. It can be factorial, it can be RSM, it can be design that you pick. It is okay. You can pick the design. But what kind of plot? Like data presentation. Whether it be scatter plot, whether it would be correlation is scatter plot, whether it would be a line plot, this is a line plot. Whether it would be a bubble plot is what? Kind of a scatter plot, but with 3 variables, where the size of the bubble, each scatter dot that we have, that dot also has a size. It is known as bubble. Then the size of the bubble, it signifies the 3rd variable, and the larger the size of the bubble is, larger is the value of the variable. For instance, scatter plot can be height versus weight. Height versus weight. We can just make a scatter plot, something like that. Make a scatter plot. Now height versus age. With the person with the larger size bubble is maybe or maybe with the maybe dieting habit, something like that. With the larger size bubble is getting more diet, something, this kind of plot. Then pie plot. These are all small things. But in this thing, what kind of plot are we trying to seek for? This is the surface plot that is required when we have surface. When surface plot is always used for. I think I should get the answer because you already gone through. Now this is the plot. See, there are 3 things. I would like to ask again. This is one, the variable value here, factor value, the main effect. Okay, this is the scared effects here. Okay, this is the interaction effect. And surface plots are always for the interaction plots. This many of you would be knowing, but for students, even if it is repeated, it is good to have a repetition of the same important point that is to be noted. The speakers yesterday in the morning might have even told you. The coming speakers will also tell you time and again. This surface plot is always for interaction. The few points, those are always to be repeated, and we need to definitely take away from this course, something to be taken away. Okay, this always is the contour plot that Ram showed. I think he showed you all kind of ridges and plots here. What were those? Yeah, the contour plots that Ram showed in the morning. So those are all for the interactions. How it is varying. Contour plot can also be for the main effects only. These were all for the interactions, like variable 1 interacting with the variable other. Okay, these are all ridges. You know what actually ridges would look like? This is again taken from something. This kind of thing, you can definitely hear the if you understand local and global minima or maxima. Here the local maxima is global maxima only. Local maxima means, suppose if my value is somewhat here. Okay, I cannot draw here in this mode. My value is somewhat here. If I try to start, there are 2 methods actually. Method of steepest ascent and steepest descent. Steepest descent is suppose my value is here. My suppose pointer is here. I'm trying to find the maximum value of this. It will try to ascend towards the maximum. The model will be built in such a way. It will try to, from this point, it will try to ascend towards the maximum value. Here also from this point, it will try to ascend towards the maximum value. From here, it will try to ascend towards the maybe this value. This we cannot call it a, yes, it is a global minima, but local minimum would be this. Local means if suppose if it at this point, and if we not need to give them a local minimum. Local means what around this specific value we are there. So what the point is here. Okay, I'll come to the slide mode here. So suppose my pointer is here, my wedges value is here. These are how algorithm written. To find a local minima, it will definitely go towards this side. But to find a global minimum, this is the global minimum, that is the point we are trying to find. It will go toward this side, but another variable, it will also generate few other points. This is why all genetic algorithm, ABC algorithm, all are written. Okay, it will generate further points, and all within this range, it will create points here. All they will be different points, that will try to predict the value that will go towards the global minima here. And when these different points will report, suppose there are 10 points, those are generated, out of them 6 have reported that this is my minima, then this will be considered as global minima, and this is the final our output value that we're trying to seek. So this is generally what kind of plots we do. But actually, when we have the data that we plot, this kind of plot could also come. In this kind of plot, suppose my point is here. Suppose my point is here, if I'm trying to maximize it, it might even go in this direction, it might even go in this direction. Okay, for these kinds of things, when the plots, this is again an interaction. With these kinds of the contours, or these kind of the surface responses that we have, we need to have a optimization method. That is what the point that was raised in the morning, the multi-objective optimization. For that, small algorithms might have to be written. Okay, in that case, I'll just show you. Yeah, for this case, for finding the right value, actually for these two only, we could even done it through simple RSM optimization or simple regression optimization, that can be done. But considering that these factors, only 2 factors taken, because this I think this is such was only to represent at how the steps will be taken towards sustainability. Suppose in place of 2 factors, 2 responses, we would be having maybe 10 responses here. Okay, the 10 responses, how do we work on them? 10 responses, each response having these variables and everything, right? In those cases, we would write an algorithm, ABC, artificial bee colony algorithm. Okay, what is that? I showed you, like, this was a point, then the different bees, different points are, this is one of the ways different points are put there. An artificial bee colony algorithm, this was the first result, then second result, this kept on going like that, and furtherly it maximized itself, then it becomes standard. Okay, in only 20 iterations itself, it standardized, it gave this value, specific value. This VW value is this, the D value is 2, and this is again not a great study, I would say, why VW is 5, D is 2, and this can even be directly seen from this program. See, we are trying to minimize that. The value of table speed is 5, value of depth of cut is 2. This can be directly seen here. But not for this study. This kind of algorithm, an algorithm is developed in which, suppose if we have 10 variables, as I said, if we suppose have 10 variables, maybe 10 variables are generally not there, 4 or 5 variables are there, sorry, responses. If we have 10 response parameters, if suppose we have 4 or 5 response parameters, and we need to optimize them proper, and we also have certain variables. If only 2 variables are taken here, depth of cut and table speed. Suppose if we have 5 variables, then we have to write an algorithm. Now these are the properties of the ABC algorithm. I don't want to get into this action today, that but these are the actually small parameters of the ABC algorithm. So finally, this is now sensitivity analysis. I called sensitivity analysis. I told you what is sensitivity analysis in the beginning. The sensitivity analysis is repeating the experiments, keeping everything sorry. So in experimental validation, what happens when we do this kind of experiments? Okay, force and reference value, these are obtained, and this is the time taken in processing and setup. We need to say what is the variation. This variation, then again, like we had the value of R square. Okay, like in normal distribution, we have confidence level 95% confidence. In this case, also we should see the confidence that what is the variation. This is varying between 0.94 to 1.01. This is varying between 11.63 to 15.14. Okay, the percentage variation I think in this case was around I think that would be reported here. No, not reported. So I think there's around 10% variation is here, around 5% variation is here. So is 10% variation acceptable? If not acceptable, that's very much might have to again be repeated, these experiments or the previous experiments. So this is how the overall, you know, experimental process goes. Okay, now this was like a unit setting process was studied during live experiments. The experimental data was statistically analyzed to identify the significant factors influencing the greenness, factors adversely affecting work environment were also identified. Simulation was used to determine optimal setting. The simulation means ABC simulation. These all things. So this research demonstrated the MQLG method decreases the machining cost by a significant reduction in cutting fluid cost, consuming lesser energy, reducing ecological hazard caused from the disposal and non-disposal biological fuel. Now, this is the major outcome of this experiment. This is something like whatever it is written for this. This is for only this set of the study that is done. Now, what is transferable? What is transferable? What is the total outcome that can be taken from this study? It is only the approach that is developed that can be adapted from quantifying the green index of a manufacturing facility, though the results, the specific results might not be. So this is just I wanted to share. Okay, so now I think these things were discussed by Ram. Okay, factorial design. I think factorial design we discussed. This is a full factorial design. This is half factorial, fractional factorial design. Full factorial design, all corners are considered. Okay, 2 level, 3 level factorial design can be there. Yes, one of the persons even asked, so what if we have mixed design in a way? Suppose if we have one factor as my oven has 3 levels, my other thing, my sugar has only 2 levels. I have only 2 spoons for sugar. I cannot measure it. Lower level, upper level, 2 spoons only. Okay, in that case, the mixed design can be taken, or sometimes even the 2 level design can even be converted into 3 levels. How does that happen? For level 1, we have -1 plus 1. For level 2, we have, sorry, for 2 factors can be converted into third factor. For factor 1, we have this -1 plus 1 for 2 levels, and for factor 2 we have -1 plus 1. We can create a third level in which we can vary the value. We can just multiply -1 plus 1, -1 into plus -1 plus 1 into plus 1, and so on. A third factor can be generated. There are certain statistical techniques in that. So 2 level, 3 level factors can be taken together using a mixed design. Full factorial and fractional factorial. What is full factorial design? Full factorial is all the factors I have told you. If it is 3 into 2 into 4, 24 experiments are to be conducted completely. But can we just get the same result while conducting half of the experiments? So what would happen? It would obviously be saving the resources. Because instead of 24 experiments, we only need to conduct 12 experiments in that case. In this case, in case of 8 experiments, in the place of 8 experiments, we'll only conduct 4 experiments. You can see how intelligent it is picked. So it is 2 diagonal this and 2 diagonals on the other side. Corners on the other side. This is a fractional factorial design. So this is 3 level factorial experiment for 2 factors. 2 factors are there, level 3, 9 experiments. Right? Therefore, these are again constant. I would say intercept, main effects, then curvature, interaction, and error. Error has 2 components: pure error and lack of fit. I've told you what is pure error. Pure error is the repetition of the same experiment. Lack of fit is the overall repetition, overall scenario analysis that is taken by lack of fit. Again, scenario analysis. I'm trying to wrap up everything. And after that, I'll have a few questions, and I'll come to the design software, which is already 316. Okay, whatever you say, I'll continue accordingly. So I think I'll also take the questions, because questions might help you or even me to understand you better, and we can even develop on that. So the pure error and lack of fit that is discussed. This is 3 level and 3 factorial. Obviously, the number of experiments you can see 3 to 327 experiments. You can see at each 3 surfaces we are conducting 9 experiments. 9 on surface A, 9 on surface center, 9 on surface lower. Right? So this is mathematical model for that. So then these are again certain examples are there. I think these all were discussed. Yes, Obviously, because this is 3 power k factorial experiment with the number of factors at 3 levels, the number of runs would be obviously power of that. 9 square, this is square of that. 9 power, this is 3 power 2. 3 power 2 is 9. 3 power 3 is 27. 3 power 4 is 81. 3 power 5 is 243, and so on. Right? Now, central composite design. In this, what happens? Because you have gone through the Design Expert software yesterday, if you have seen the RSM design there, you might have gone through alpha values. What are alpha values? Alpha values are these outer points, axial points here, points along the axis only. Okay. Now this is factorial. This above set is only 1, 2, 3, 9 factorial designs. Okay, all these vectors here. Okay, including this one. Then we have axial points to make it centrally composite. Centrally composite means, suppose if I replace, sorry, let me call this as value 1, value 2, value 3, value 4. Centrally composite means if I replace 1 by 3 or 3 by 1, if I swap them, then also results would be same. This means it is rotatable central composite design. And also the design can be set in blocks. What are the blocks in that? Like, for instance, one person is doing experiments, like me in the morning, one person is doing experiments in the evening. We can divide them into blocks. Experiments done in the morning, block 1, experiments in the morning, evening, block 2. These two blocks can also be compared in analysis. And also the blocks can be something like any variation if you see, like that is not noted somewhere, but if you want to see, like typically there should be no variation with the change in operator, because the machine is setting everything, each operator is trained equivalently. But if you want to find that, you can definitely have a plot with between them as well. This is blocking of the experiments as well, right? Or the blocking can be if you are using experiments using maybe machine A or machine B, or using the new tool sometimes. So what is the experiment in that? You know, I will tell you one more thing. In those experiments which were conducted using dry, flood and everything, for each experiment, for each run, one new drill was chosen. Because each time, because surface roughness has to be calculated there, and if we do one experiment with this drill, the material of the drill was high-speed steel only, and the tools material was duralumin. If we do one experiment, the drill becomes somewhat blunt. To some small extent, tool wear happens. That is not significant, but it can be, if you see, you know, at the micro level, or the maybe not nano only, if we see at the micro level, small deterioration would be there. And if we do the second experiment using the same drill, okay, then that would not give the right impression or right behavior of the data. So for each experiment, the drill was changed, the drill bit was changed. I think that was milling tool, the milling tool was changed. Yes. If we are doing some experiments with one bit, like maybe 5 experiments, second experiment with the second drill or milling tool, or a third with the third milling tool, sometimes was 3 different milling tools are used, we can even then divide them into blocks. This is how it works. Okay, factor central composite, these alpha values. Alpha values, what are these alpha values? I think this, how do we calculate them? I think this is 1.41, depending upon the number of variables you have. For an RSM, like 20 experiments are there. For 3 variables, if you have 3 independent variables. For 2 independent variables, 13 experiments. For 4 independent variables, you have 31 experiments. So this alpha value is calculated in such a way that this should be rotatable. You can see this is the alpha value, but this value from star to center, red star to red dot, is 1.41. 1.41 of what? Actually, this is the diagonal radius, I would say, half of the diagonal, right? So this is how the factor central composites, factorial and star points work. So central composite design have, now in this case, generally what we have 3 levels, and generally, you know, in 3 levels, if we only plot, like in this case, only 3 levels, Yeah, only three points are plotted. I'm again telling this is not a great experiment. It's only 1, 2, 3 points are plotted. Had we had the 5 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here and 5 on the side, okay, we might have gotten maybe a better view. Okay, so 5 experiments, 3 experiments are obviously minimum number of experiments that you should do or we should do is 3, because 3 only gives us the pattern. At least 3 should be there for the pattern. 2 can be coincidence. 1 is obviously nothing. 1 is one experiment. That is not even experiment. That is an instance. 1 is instance. 2 can be coincidence. Only at least 3 should give us a pattern. Okay, more than 3 it can be 4, 5, 6. That is what you choose according to the resources that you have. That is how it is designed. Now we were talking about if we choose this central composite design, you even only while adding the value of alpha and the you will get while we'll get 5 levels of experiments. Now what are the 5 levels? 1, 2 here, 3, 4 here, and 5, right? So we'll have 5 levels of experiments. You will have 5 dots like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then you can connect these dots, but the number of experiments would again remain that only. That means it was there for 3. This is the beauty of response surface design. Okay, like for 2 variables we have 13 experiments. I told you 2 for 2 table 13, 3. That is the design how it has happened. It is very beautifully designed, I would say. So we have extreme high star point, extreme low star point, and obviously high center low, 3 points in the center. And if we do not use value of alpha, we'll having only 3 factors. This is also okay. This is also okay if you don't want to do many experiments. So hidden factorial designs and everything can be designed here. You know, so all these things I think are discussed. Orthogonal CCD. Also, the orthogonal CCD is only when we call it orthogonal CCD can be constructed by taking alpha 1 different value of alpha when they are equal. That is known as orthogonal CCD for different setups. Okay, because orthogonal, because that can be directly overlapped within each other, on each other. I think now this is how we pick the value of alpha. For orthogonal design, let's say 4 center points, and this is how we pick the value. For rotatable design, it should be rotatable. For ortho plus rotatable, the center points will increase. Okay, that becomes that becomes a bit orthogonal and rotational. But I'm telling you, practically, we rarely have to rotate the design. We rarely have to do anything. We only need to have what is the purpose of design of experiments. I think I would like to wrap up with this. Box banking, I think I have given you some introduction to that. Box banking is that when we are working not in the corners, when we do not have data or when we don't want to work on the corners, we have these things. We have only at center points we data have. Then box banking design is used. Box banking was actually after this basic factorial design, first RSM that was designed was box banking only. The purpose was to not to work on extremes. That was only purpose. That is why this box banking RSM came into existence. After box banking RSM, a lot of use of this kind of method is used. Then the points were also put in the corners. Now that is more used. So the purpose of DOE, design of experiments, is only to minimize the minimize the use of resources and to maximize the output, and we need to get that into as close to the final result as we can. So you are open for the questions. If any queries, you can definitely post me through my email as well. And if you wish, separately we can. I wanted to give a small presentation on the Design Expert software. I thought I will explain RSKit and everything, but just while learning that, you have already gone through that yesterday. So definitely this 1 week course will give you a lot of information, but I will suggest each of you to please keep reading in the night. You know, this is always important while learning. I think this students, for you, while listening or while attending the lecture, if the instructor is giving its full input there, again only you will get 60% of that. This is the general area, 60% of that. And if you do not revise, that will go down to 30-35%. And if you don't revise for next 72 hours, it will go down to even much lower. I suggest you to please revise whatever you have. Maybe till tomorrow morning, I am open for any questions. You can just post me, and Dr. Warren can definitely help us in coordinating that. Yes, sir. Please, any questions and anything.
Sure, sir. So, dear participants, if you have any queries, please you can unmute and you may ask.
Okay, sir. I think this is the 4th lecture, and these things might be repetition for them, but definitely each and every lecture would have something, some small input that definitely would help all of us to take something in life. Like while learning, while attending Ram's lecture in the morning, I also learned a few things. So it is always a good way of interactive learning.
Yes, sir.
So you can definitely post me, sir, if some questions comes.
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir. So I have one doubt, sir, regarding
please,
this. When you were mentioning about going to some optimization methods and all, and we also discussed that to improvise the model, we may identify which are significant, and then if there is no correlation or there is no significance, then we will modify, and we may get a new regression equation, and then we sometimes use it. So will there be any difference in the optimization when we perform, when the model that we are choosing is without the significant parameters and with the significant parameters?
right, sir. Okay, well, I'll tell you, sir. Number one, the model that you compare should have all the factors.
Okay.
In general, what is the? I'll tell you. Suppose it was VW, like I will say V and D. It was V, D, V into D, V square, D square.
Yes, sir.
Okay. For force, for roughness, let me say some other factors also. For tool wear, for energy consumption. 4 factors, let me say. Okay, and suppose only in force only, or only in the roughness, you find that this V value or V square value is not required, that you have omitted. Okay,
Right.
what the model will take, it will obviously by itself take the coefficient of V square as 0.
Yes, sir.
ABC algorithm. Okay, and these ABC algorithms, they generally algorithms are too fast. The computation time, I think you might have seen, I have put 200 iterations, but within 20 iterations, it was able to give us the result.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if you find one factor insignificant it is general trend, sir. If you find one factor insignificant in response to any one of the 4 responses, you'll find it insignificant in all of them.
Okay. Sometimes it may also behave in other way around also.
Yes, sir. Please clarify.
If it is insignificant, is it mandatory that it will be insignificant for the rest of the models here?
No. I'm telling you, in general, it is not mandatory. Generally, it happens.
Okay.
Generally, it has happened. Obviously, it is not mandatory. And you always have an option. I think yesterday you might have gone through. You can just directly use Design Expert software itself. Minitab helps us in that. You can just pick directly. I want to choose linear model. It will put all the linear factors. I can pick quadratic model. It will put all the quadratic factors. Okay.
Right.
In quadratic factors, you can just omit 1 or 2 factors out of them. I think sometimes there are some outliers. Generally, this is not done. Generally, first, I think that I missed to tell, because you have asked a question. Thanks for asking this, sir. Instead of omitting that term, first omission should start from omitting that run, specific outlier.
Okay.
Because of a few outliers, these things might also be behaving in a haphazard manner. See, out of the 21 experiments, we have to be very carefully omit the outlier, because that outlier, we can never omit the corner outliers.
Yes, sir.
Right? If it is connecting through the center, if it at least has one center point in that, then that can be omitted. You got my point, sir? Suppose if there are 3 variables: speed, feed, depth of cut. Okay, depth of cut extreme, speed extreme, and and depth of cut, speed and feed extreme. This can never be omitted, whatever value comes. because this will totally fail your RSL. It will not even show a proper model. But yes, if the depth of cut is extreme, speed is extreme, speed is center, or something like this can be omitted, or the other way around.
Yes, sir.
This is also very important point, students. You can never omit the extreme points. If you do that, your overall, your cube breaks. Your model that completely breaks. It will not show the right results.
Yes, sir. And regarding this R adjacent and R predicted, sir, is it similar to what rules that Ram sir and you were mentioning? Depending upon the application, we try to identify what R square is acceptable. Is it applicable similar lines with respect to R adjacent and R predicted also, sir?
Yes, sir. Obviously, R adjusted and R predicted would be directly proportional to your R square value.
Because R adjacent term is little different to R square, and R predicted is for the prediction purpose, for the forecasting case. So do we have to again consider what application for which we are designing, and then depending upon that we may say 95%, 98, or even 80%, 60% is also fine.
Right. So I'll tell you one thing, sir. It is R adjusted, R predicted, and R square. We should not say R square adjusted, R square predicted, and
Yes,
R square. Okay. If the R square value is 60%, R square adjusted value would be close to 55% and 58%. R square predicted value will also be accordingly. It cannot be that R square value is 90% and R square adjusted value is 60%. Can never be. It is always proportional. If R square value is 99%, R square adjusted value will be close to 97, 98%.
Okay.
It would always be like that. And yes, R square predicted is a good question, sir. R square adjusted value, I have told you, that is adjusted to counter the inflation in the model because of adding a more factor. R square predicted is the software that you use that will try to predict an R value to forecast that what the future value of future final result should be there. That is R square predicted. So in statistics, you will never see R square predicted like in the calculations. In the software, yes, they will say the software say I predict this. You choose whether you would like to choose from predicted or adjusted.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir?
Yes, sir. So I was under the impression like R square and R adjacent are close, but R predicted, since it is the fit that we are talking about, so they need to be always close to 1. But like you said, they will be in relation with R square.
Yeah, they will be close to that.
So,
okay. R square, yeah, you are also right, sir. R square predicted can be varied because that we have given full freedom to the calculations. That is not having it. Yes, sir. You are right, sir. Yes. That can even vary.
Okay. Yes.
That can even vary because R square adjusted is directly calculated from R square only. R square predicted is independently calculated.
Okay.
You are right, sir.
Thank you, sir. If there are any queries, you can always write to us, and we will try to communicate to sir, like he suggested. And thank you very much, sir. Thank you for giving us the talk, and you were available from morning onwards. So that is very kind of you. In fact, I was very surprised to receive immediate response, and then a double offer by saying sir and yourself both will be available and taking the 2 sessions. And thank you, sir, for giving pro DOE and post DOE, because this pre and post are very crucial, and this session is bridging both. And there was some fundamental part, and there was some case studies and basic misconceptions. I think that is more important for the researchers and the students who want to perform their experimentations. And I think with this we can again go into deeper case studies, and if we for the next coming sessions, these fundamentals will help them a lot, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you once again for
Thank you, sir. Pleasure is all mine. Pleasure is all mine. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. It is always, nourishing to work with people like you, sir. Thank you so much.
And one request, sir, from the participant side, if possible, can we have this PPT shared so that I can
sure. I think this is the same PPT that Raman I presented. I'll just share it for sure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, all the participants. We'll join back tomorrow, and I'll be sharing the feedback link through WhatsApp. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.